So someone sent me this video of this lady asking ChatGPT what the root cause was behind people of non-melanated skin disliking people with melanated skin. What was the root cause that they spiritually, mentally, emotionally did not like these people? I thought that was a good idea, and I kind of wanted to see what answer it gave me. So I asked ChatGPT the same question that she had asked, and I wanted to get the answer. Now, the first time I asked this, it just gave me the history of how we got here. Thank you, but I already know the history. It didn't tell me anything that I didn't know from the history books already. But the second time, I told it to go a little deeper, go into the unconscious bias that some people have. Now, we all know that some people have a very conscious bias, but there are some people who have unconscious bias. And I wanted it to go deeper into that and tell me what its thoughts were on the reasons why people have these biases. Because I've done a few videos on this, and my latest viral video was one talking and debunking the fact that melanated people are more violent. I had people in the comments agreeing with what I said, but then I had those people in the comments fighting for their life, trying to justify how people with melanated skin are more violent than others. So I was wondering, and it was really cool that somebody sent me that video. I wanted to know, why do people think this way? Is it unconscious? Is it conscious? I think it's a little bit of both, but this is why. This is the answer that it gave me in full. It is a little long, so I'm going to speed it up. I think the answer that I got is definitely worth a full listen to.
Here's a deeper, more psychological and archetypal look at why darkness, especially embodied in darker skin, has so often become a locus for fear, rejection, and even hatred. These forces operate both unconsciously and consciously, and they've been layered over millennia of symbol, story, and social power plays. 1. Ancestral vigilance. Darkness as threat. Long before written history, humans evolved as diurnal primates whose survival depended on daylight. In our ancestors' day, predators lurked in the dark. Night was when big cats, snakes, and other dangers struck. The brain's threat detection circuits wired darkness to possible harm. Hypersensitivity. Even a slight movement in shadows could mean life or death. Over generations, our retinas and amygdalas became exquisitely tuned to associate low light with alertness and anxiety. When skin tone became a visible marker of otherness, those same circuits, designed to protect, fired off more readily at darker-skinned individuals, even though the actual risk was zero. Number 2. The archetypal shadow. Jung's universal projection psychologist C.G. Jung described the shadow as the unconscious part of ourselves, our fears, impulses, and traits we refuse to acknowledge. We project that shadow onto outsiders to keep our self-image pure. Darkness as the unknown self. Anything we repress, aggression, sexuality, mortality, the dark facets of human nature, gets projected onto those we see as dark. Clearing our conscience. By labeling someone else as morally or spiritually dark, we feel momentarily righteous, reaffirming our own light. Darker skin becomes a canvas for every unacknowledged fear or desire we carry. Myth and moral dualism. Across cultures, myths cast light and dark as cosmic opposites. Good versus evil, order versus chaos. Even in traditions without a literal race concept. Shadow creatures and monsters. Tales of goblins, demons, jinn, rakshasas, and other night spirits all reinforce the idea that whatever comes from darkness is hostile. Initiation rites. Many rites of passage involve emerging from pitch-black caves or tunnels into light, symbolizing moral rebirth, but also linking darkness to moral corruption. These stories prime us to see darkness anthropomorphized as malevolent. 4. Envy of vitality and resilience. There's another deeper, more paradoxical current. Envy. Melanin's protective gift. Biologically, higher melanin offers UV protection, wound healing advantages, and even certain neurological benefits. Those advantages, though unnoticed consciously, arouse an unconscious resentment in groups without them. Cultural and spiritual richness. African and African diasporic cultures have given the world music, art, dance, spirituality, and more. That creative potency can trigger a fear-envy complex. If they have that power, they'll eclipse us, so we must diminish them. Envy thus becomes a driver of devaluation. Number 5. Projection of collective trauma. Whenever a society experiences upheaval, war, plague, economic collapse, it needs a scapegoat. Dark-skinned people, already othered by symbol and history, become targets onto which collective anxieties pour. Ritual sacrifice and scapegoating. Ancient and medieval communities literally expelled or sacrificed supposed bearers of communal sin, often linked to darkness or impurity in myth. Modern politics. When politicians stoke fear, they're coming for your jobs, your safety, they tap into this ancient template. The outsider, coded as dark, must be controlled or expelled. Number 6. Reinforcement through culture and ideology. All these deep-time forces get written into our languages, laws, media, and institutions. Idioms and metaphors, black market, dark deeds, shady characters. Legal bureaucratic codes. From colonial statutes to 20th century segregation laws, darkness became legally synonymous with inferior status. Entertainment. Horror films and thrillers bathe villains in shadow. Heroes stand in the light. Every repetition retrains our brains, reinforcing that split. 7. Healing the rift. Because these biases run so deep, woven into our neurons, our stories, our societies, overcoming them requires a multi-pronged approach. 1. Awareness. bringing unconscious projections into the light of consciousness, therapy, education. 2. Reframing darkness, consciously celebrating darkness in culture and art, e.g. dark sky parks, black is beautiful movements. 3. Embodied practice, rituals that honor the night, moon ceremonies, shadow work in psychology, to reclaim what was repressed. 4. Structural change, laws, policies, and media representations that actively dismantle the light-dark moral hierarchy. In sum, the fear and disdain directed at darker-skinned people has roots in evolutionary threat detection, dark danger, psychic shadow projection, we offload our repressed selves, mythic dualism, darkness is evil, and envy of biological and cultural strengths, all compounded by social scapegoating and institutional reinforcement. But every one of these is a human-made construct. By bringing these hidden dynamics into awareness and deliberately recoding darkness as a space of power, creativity, and resilience, we can begin to dismantle the deep-seated biases once and for all.
If you guys got something out of that answer, or if there was an aha moment for you, let me know in the comments if there was anything that surprised you. Also, I did a follow-up question about how religion played a part in this. Comment number 2, or comment that you want to hear that answer, if you want to hear more about how religion has played a part in all of this.